The need for a more interconnected world is fueling new decentralized technologies and new ways of doing business. Hedera stands at the forefront of distributed ledgers, where every interaction is not only trusted, but fast, efficient, and secure. While traditional blockchains struggle with speed and fees, Hedera's network settles transactions in under 3 seconds for a fraction of a penny. And the proof is in the numbers. Hedera is uniquely governed by a council of the world's leading institutions, ensuring transparency, trust, and decentralization. It's no wonder Hedera is the leading choice for enterprise and DeFi use cases. Everything from real-world asset tokenization to AI data integrity. Discover the only decentralized network with the governance, scalability, and security to power the new digital economy. What future will you build?
Okay, hello everyone, and welcome today to the community call. Also, hello future, thank you for joining us. We are excited to share a lot of updates of our ecosystem, live insights, and exciting developments from awesome builders across the Hedera community. First, welcome to Milan, Juan, Michael. Also, thank you for being here, doing a great job. For this first agenda, we are going to start talking about a short recap of the Ambassador and Moderators Program and other community initiatives. Just a reminder, at the last of the session, we have a Q&A space. So feel free, please, to drop your questions. So we are going to answer them in some minutes. So yes, let's start a little bit with some updates with Ambassadors and Moderators Program. So if some of you have already applied, yesterday we have sent all the, we have selected already the ambassadors and moderators. They have received already their emails. We are waiting for having a one-on-one session with them in the next days. We have selected 5 community ambassadors on Colombia, Argentina, Mexico, Spain, and Brazil. And also in that same countries, 5 developer ambassadors. And as moderators, we have selected 2 technical moderators and 5 community moderators that they are going to help us primarily on X, Reddit, and Discord moderation. So yeah, you are going to start seeing some improvements on our actual flow in these socials. So yeah, that's it. We are launching in the next days a cool thing that is our community hub. So this will be awesome for all the community members. And yes, that's it. I don't know, Fermin, you want to add something?
No, Luis, you've been super complete in what you explained, but please, we invite the community to follow the news and the different updates because we are working hard on that. So happy to be here and to having Milan, Michael, as always, Juan. Juan is Argentinian as I, so it's double. I'm very happy to having him here. So please, let's begin.
Yeah. So first, the guest speaker introductions. So let's start hearing our speakers. So please introduce yourselves, name, role, what are you involved on the Hedera ecosystem? Please, the mic is yours.
Excellent. So I'll just kick it off. So my name is Milan Wieksvarijn. I've been in the Hedera ecosystem for 4.5 years now. Always been very excited about innovation and building. So that's what I've been doing for the past 4.5 years, creating, building, developing on Hedera, and making sure that everybody and the others that try the same can do as well. So yeah, very excited to be here.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Maybe I continue. My name is Juan. Thank you, Fermin, for the intro. Right now, I'm the General Secretary of the MiCA CryptoAlliance. It's one of the initiatives by Exponential Science, where I also work. And we are doing lots of very interesting work on policy and on sustainability and with Hedera. I've been working in blockchain and in sustainability for many years. I'm a part of the team at UCL that moved on later to exponential science. So I've been doing research on Hedera in particular for a few years, right? I think probably there's been some research from me and the rest of the team about, for instance, Hedera energy use, etc. That came from us. So we're very happy to continue doing research on that as well.
Thank you. Welcome, Juan. Michael, it's always a pleasure to have you here. The mic is yours.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for inviting me to this general community call. I'm Michael Cantor, president of Hashgraph Online. Recently, we helped co-host the Hedera AI Agents Hackathon and Hedera AI Demo Day, so you might have seen me in a few places there. At Hashgraph Online, we're working on building the new agentic, fully on-chain internet, utilizing the Hedera consensus service. We've open sourced a number of great standards on the Hedera consensus service, which you can find on our website, hashgraphonline.com. And as of today, we've facilitated over 28 million transactions on mainnet. During our AI hackathon, we did over 12,000 testnet transactions on our newest standard, HDS10, which is Open Convey, an AI to AI communication standard. Again, thank you for inviting me, guys.
Okay, so we can start with the first speaker of today. So Milan, please start talking about Nomid Pay. You work on no-code integrations, Earthlings, and also you role in the Hiero TSC.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. All right. So if you could just put my shared screen up there. Oh, excellent. There we go. Can you think? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so this picture is in the spirit of me experimenting a lot and inventing. That's really what I love doing most. On the back, you can see, by the way, a neuron antenna, which is also built on Hedera. Very excited to be part of that beta. All right, so there are several things I'll be talking about, and I'll keep it short, snappy, to the point, so everybody can keep engaged. So I'll be talking about the Hiero TSC, and especially also the election that we recently had, Nomid, Earthlings, Healthtoken.ai, N8N, which is a visual programming platform, and more specifically, the node that I would love to see more developed on Hedera, and the Mouth Agency. Right, so let's jump right in. The Hiero TSC. First of all, what is Hiero? Just a short recap. Hedera decided to donate all the source code to the Linux Foundation, which is really exciting. And so this is housed under the Hiero project. Now, in terms of the governance, with Hiero, there's the TSC, the Technical Steering Committee, that is in place. So they are responsible for all technical oversight of the project. So all the technical developments that results in updates for the network are going to the TSC. These meetings are open. I'll put up a QR code later on after this slide so that you can get the link to the agenda. So anybody is more than welcome to join. And actually, I encourage it. We all encourage it for people to join these meetings. There are a total of 9 seats. On the right, you can see 6 people that have so far occupied 6 of the 9 seats, and I'm very excited to share with you all that Michael Cantor and me, we both won in the recent election 2 of the seats. So Michael got elected for the contributor seat, contributors, that's people who actually contributed code to the Hiero source code. And I got elected for the end user seat, so representing end users on Hedera, or companies that leverage Hiero technology. Right, so let me just put up this QR code, scan this, and yeah, you can see the meetings of Hiero under the Linux Foundation. Give it a few seconds. All right, now next topic, Nomid. So Nomid is a peer-to-peer payment system that I built last year. It was for the Hello Future Hackathon. So basically what I did is I created an app. I created an actual device. You can see right here, it's a newer version, where you can just tap and pay with your phone, and a transaction will be directly made from you to the merchant, basically.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. With that, I won first in DeFi track, first in Trailblazers, and second overall winner. I further developed prototypes, which I will show after this. After the hackathon, I developed those, and so also one exciting thing. I don't have an example, but I managed to program like bank cards. They're called Java cards, and you can program a little applet. That's called. You can program little applets on those cards, and so what I basically did is the Nomid device sends a unsigned transaction to the card. The card signs the transaction and sends it back as a signed transaction, which is on its own is very, very exciting. I think it's cool that you can just tap with your card and you basically sign transaction. It's also not, on the other hand, it's also dangerous because you never know what kind of transaction you're signing. But you know, that's part of innovation. You're exploring all the possibilities, and yeah, really discovering what is possible. Now, I'll be very straightforward. I love innovating and building new things. However, I'm not a great business developer, so I'm not sure what's going next with Nomid. You know, on the left you can see the original design, which was of the box, which was created by my dear friend Spud. And later on, I also wanted to learn on how to design these things, so using AutoCAD. So that's you see in the middle. I started iterating. This is after the hackathon, obviously. On the right, you can see the first iteration of the design. And then this was the latest prototype that I sent out in February, I believe, to some people to try it out. The branding is done by a dear friend, Pedro, who's really good at branding and marketing. So yeah, it was very, very exciting development process, you know, and I thought it's I think it's kind of nice to show how these things work. All right, so I'll just
ask you a question regarding Nomid, because I've been following your work. It's awesome, yeah. And what I'm seeing in our ecosystem, you know, there's a lot of new stablecoins, and payments is something that is going to be huge using on-chain payments. No. That's what you saw, what you did. But also looking at your solution, and I'm thinking, and as a community member, I ask you this: are you envisioning that you go pay, for instance, for a coffee using your Hedera wallet, for instance, paying HBAR or USDC or on Hedera, etc.? Are you envisioning that? And the other question that I am seeing is that payments are beginning to be a commodity, because networks like Hedera, that we have a fixed fee of $0.001 paid in HBAR, etc., makes traditional payment fees something from the past. So, what do you think about this?
Yeah, so I mean, the what I built here, I'm really excited about it. Just the thing that I created, because you know, I love to think, okay, how do we close the gap between like potential, all this is possible that we just talk in our heads, and actually real use case, what is actually on the ground possible, and are people actually going to use it? So here, for example, the idea that I implemented is that okay, you have first of all, one exciting thing of Nomid is that the user who installs the app doesn't need to know about HBAR, right? We're talking about infrastructure, because you don't need to have HBAR on your wallet, or, you know, the user will even realize it's a wallet, but the transaction is always signed on the phone. So it's their own private keys. It's a non-custodial. However, the transaction is signed on the phone, but the user never needs to use HBAR, because it's the operator, so the server, who actually pays for HBAR, or in HBAR. But as fees are fixed in US dollar, the operator has minimal risk, because it knows, hey, it's that amount in USD, and can directly take it from the actual transaction in USDC. Right? So we're having the operator who takes it, but we can also have someone who decides to create, like, hey, I'll create those devices, and then I'm going to give them to merchants for free, but I only take like a little, like 10 cents or maybe less fee on every transaction. So in that way, that construction, that everybody wins, because in the end the merchant also pays less. You have instant transactions. That's what I really love about this system.
Of course, if you compare it with the traditional payment fees, you are paying 3%, 3.5%. In some, for instance, entertaining, you pay like double digits of transaction fee. I mean, the merchant. So this is not only the user that we have is this decentralized way of paying, but the merchants are going to push it, because you said close the gap. No, I think that shifting. No, we are shifting to a new payment mode, in my opinion. No, my opinion.
Absolutely, and you know, and my wife has an ice cream shop, so I kind of know, like, you know, the percentage that goes around, and you know, the experience is almost the same for a user. That's also what I try to reflect with Nomid. Like, you tap it, and it's less than 3 seconds. You know, you got a confirmation, and literally merchant already have it, and doesn't need to wait for the bank. It's already there. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. Again, I'm not a business developer, so not my strongest point, but it's exciting, the technology.
Amazing. Thank you, Milan.
All right. Let me go to the next slide. So Earthlings. So Earthlings has started in 2022. And it's a gaming metaverse and building on Hedera. And so they've been consistently building. There are more than 30 people that work in the gaming studio. It's entirely grassroots. So I've been involved since early on, more like on how do we integrate different parts on Hedera. And so, you know, what I really also saw that one of the founders, Patrick, you know, gave a lot of people different assignments. And if they were good or they showed potential, he said, okay, just come on board right away. So this way, it's very cost efficient. I think it's one of the most cost efficient businesses that I've seen, and keep on building. And especially for the quality, it's very, very exciting to see. So while they're building the big game, they also released 2 side games that also have integrated the Hedera token service. One of them is Team Runner, which you can download both on iOS and Android. And the other one is Smack Mosquito, which I believe is a partnership with Centex and Hashback and Earthlings, but it's Earthlings Gaming Studio who built it. That was initially on Telegram, and now it's also on Android and iOS. Now I'm gonna show a little clip to kind of show the avatars. Like, this is, I asked the team, like, hey, is there something you can quickly show me? Like, what have you been building? Like, what have you been working on most recently? So while we're recently working on this intro screen where you choose the avatar. So we've got all kind of exciting people in there, Arrow, but also on the right bottom corner, you'll see Grelf. Here's Grelf, very muscled by. That's because he's carrying so many stumps. So they also made a quick screen grab of the city, what they're working on right now. So it's a bit jittery. That's because it's directly taken from within Unreal, so it's not built. It's, everything has to be calculated by the computer. Everything you see within Earthlings, everything is built by the studio itself. So all the assets, everything is built from scratch. And they've been really working on optimizing the city build, so that can go a lot quicker. All right, there's a lot to tell, so I'm just going for it. So Healthtoken.ai. So this is a health data tokenization engine that we built with the latest hackathon, Hello Future Hackathon 2.0. It won second place tokenized assets and digital securities track and third place overall. So it's really a tokenization engine for consent management, reward, and data collection management. Here, with all the other hackathons, I was always like, hey, I want to build what I really like, what I'm excited about. But then the challenge is, what next? Right? What am I going to do next with what I just built? And how is it going to add value to anything else? Because I started to learn for myself, I'm not a great business developer, or at least I'm less interested in developing a business than to create new exciting things. So I went to Jim Nasser from Acor, and I asked him, what do you need, Jim? And he clearly defined me like, hey, this is like a health data tokenization engine. That's definitely something we have market fit for. So I thought to myself, I'm going to build that, because this way I already know it can go out in the public. And so that's what's being done. So currently, an update on Healthtoken.ai. So Acor is currently working with a rare disease client in Africa. And when you hear on the background, that's my dog sneezing. So Acor is currently working with a rare disease client in Africa, using Healthtoken as part of a solution stack. So that's for cryptographically capturing patient consent, validation of patient consent through interactions with the app, creating NFTs from Healthtoken to index and reference RWAs from anonymized rare disease data, and designing a direct plugin to allow patients to recover their consent keys through helpers. Because it's all exciting, this Web3, but you do have to understand, as a user, it's a different story. You can't just say like, hey, I want to recover my password, and your password is being sent to you. So with Direct, that will allow using helpers to recover the private key of the users. Oh, this is an exciting one as well. I mean, everything is cool.
Yes.
Yes. So N8N, N8N is a visual programming platform. So you have a trigger that can be time or an email or a Telegram message, and then you've got different nodes that can be connected and you can execute. Now, I use this to start learning how to develop. If you have a logical mindset, this is a very, very great way in. And I actually won third place at the hackathon in 2023 with Geotap. So Geotap was a location-based NFT system. And well, they're not entirely open source, which I don't personally really like, but they do have free self-hosting, and it's exploding popularity since a few months, especially because they have such a great AI integration. So you can really build your own AI agents that's, it's limitless. So yeah, let me do a quick demo on that. So you can see my screen right now. This is how N8N starts. Now, what I built right, you have these building blocks. So you have all kind of things, action in the app. So these are all integration of different apps. We're seeing AWS, Bubble, Calendly, for example. We all know that one. But I build a new one, which is the Hedera node. So I click on that. So my credential is Milan Testnet. What I want to do is I want to create a new account. So for whatever trigger, we drag it over here. And what happens now when I click test workflow, it will create a new account. But I could also do that with a Telegram message. For example, hey, with a new Telegram message, do this. So we go to Hashcan, and we see that we just created a new account. Now, let's add a new one. Got another function there, which is transfer HBAR. So I'm going to delete this one. But what I want to do is, hey, the new account that just got created, this one, the new account ID, I want to send HBAR to that one. All right. So when I click now test workflow, it will actually create a new account ID over here. And I have to just drag this account ID over here and say, let me send 0.1 HBAR. And we test the workflow. And meanwhile, we can see over here, if it refreshes, there you go. So a new account ID was created and 0.1 HBAR was sent. So this is really just a start, I'd say, because there's so many functionalities to implement. Let me check this one. Is it time? Almost. So
Milan, please follow it. I don't know what.
Okay, no worries. No worries. So I've put a QR code here. So I'm just doing this open source just because I love using L8N, but I especially love seeing people enabled to build on Hedera. I really believe, and this is like a very low entry for anybody to build workflows. You can even create AI agents with different plugins, with Hedera, with other things you use, with Telegram. If you scan this QR code, it goes to the GitHub where you can see the nodes. You can fork it, you can do whatever you like, but you can also self-host N8N already and look for the Hedera node. It's already there, so you can already start out. But yeah.
Milan, we are going to invite you to the technical course that we conduct to go to dive deep about this. Good. Because I think we have a lot to learn about this more deeper.
Yeah, it's so powerful. It's so exciting. So, and especially it's become so popular. So you see everybody talking about it, and I'm like, yeah, I've been using that for 4 years now, I believe, and it's really cool. Anyway, my last thing I want to talk about. So the mouth already exists for about a year, but I was under the name Butterball. And why did we do that? Why was I not known under Milan? Because I wanted people to see our products and not to look at like, hey, oh, this is Milan. Then it's then I can then the mouth, blah blah blah. Just want to look at the product. That's what it was about. So I co-founded this with Pedro Becker, who is who we also saw created the Nomid design. So when we released the SIR app, the SIR is social engagement rewards, and I think many of you have tried it out. It would allow for projects on Hedera to give rewards in tokens for people that for their most excited the fans of their project. So if you would engage, you get tokens. And this is a pretty terrible story, but so we were 100% sure we were not breaking the TOS, and suddenly we got banned. That's the story behind us being banned from Twitter, from X. And we saw, but that's not possible. We saw the TOS and everything was fine. And we went and then somebody said, no, you are breaking TOS. And then we checked the Internet Archive, and basically what they've done, they banned us, and 2 days later they changed the TOS. So yeah, I think that's maybe confirmation that it works very well. But we're building a team currently. And so previously we've been focused on digital products on Hedera, really focused on innovation within the attention economy. Now we're also branching out to being a marketing agency. So you will see a lot about that in the future. Yeah, it's really about innovating in the attention economy. Yeah, that was it. Thank you, everybody. Reach out if you feel like, via Twitter. Yeah, via Twitter, I guess it's best, or any other place you can find me. LinkedIn as well. Yeah, very excited to have been able to share this.
Thank you very much, Milan. I always think that I do a lot of things, but seeing your presentation, I understand that I'm far behind you.
Yeah, I've been accused of being cloned and having twins, but the truth is, just don't get kids and don't have a social life, and you'll be very surprised at how many hours there are in a day.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for that, Milan. Luis?
Okay, so before that, Milan, only like a personal advice, any advice regarding how to manage our time, like how to be efficient as you?
So you mean like how whether I timed myself in order to be like very, very short?
Yeah.
So this is my trick. I just have an iPad here which was timing myself, and I had like different time frames that I told myself, okay, I need to be finished for every topic at this time. So
awesome. Something similar as the Pomodoro for managing time.
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to continue with the second speaker, Juan Ignacio, from MiCA CryptoAlliance. So yes, the mic is yours. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Luis, and thank you, Fermin, for the invite. Milan, this was amazing. You were all over the place. I mean, really fantastic. So congratulations. It was really great to see everything that you're doing. Okay, so I have some updates to share with you and with the community around what we're doing with Hedera, the MiCA CryptoAlliance, and also part of our sustainability research. So I think I'm going to have to take a step back because some of you or of the community may not know much about MiCA, let alone about the Alliance. So this all has to do with the sustainability research that we were doing at UCL many years ago, right? And that had to do and impacted in some papers on crypto energy use and carbon footprint that have been cited a lot, and Hedera uses it a lot as well. And then in the EU, a regulation came in a few years ago called MiCA. It stands for Markets in Crypto Assets, right? It's a copy of another regulation called MiFID, or Markets in Financial Instruments Directive. And it's basically, like the world's first comprehensive regime for crypto regulation, for good and for bad. Like some people, they believe this is too much regulation. But at the same time, at least there's more or less some clarity on what this regulation is. So some people think that's a positive. But one way or another, the EU now has a strong regulatory regime for crypto. And it's like the banking grade regulation for crypto, right? It is actually a regulation that allows banks to get into the system and traditional financial players. But at the same time, it puts some duties onto the crypto industry that are a bit more banking grade, which some people like because it means, we are finally maturing as an ecosystem. And some people don't like because they say, well, we were not supposed to be the same. But one way or another, right now, if a crypto project or a blockchain project wants to succeed in the EU, they need to comply with this regulation. So this regulation, what does it establish? Well, it establishes a lot of things. That's why it's such a comprehensive regime. It includes like licensing regimes for the trading platforms to issue a stable coin and so on. And law firms, they get you your licenses just like they did with the previous regime. But what is a bit lesser known is that now under MiCA, in the EU, every crypto asset needs to have a white paper. If they don't have a white paper, they cannot be listed in the EU in trading platforms. The word white paper here means a different thing from what we typically think. We think of the Bitcoin white paper, the HBAR, the Hedera white paper. That's not the white paper that MiCA refers to. They adopted this term that maybe they shouldn't have, right? Maybe they should have called it a prospectus in a way. So they established every crypto needs to have a white paper that is what we call a MiCA white paper, a very particular document. It has like around 200 fields, 12 sections, and it describes lots of things about every single, what we call in the EU, crypto asset project. So you will have to describe the technology, the team, the history, the future, the financials, the different players involved in a project, which may be decentralized, but surely has some particular player that did the original minting, and some crypto asset trading platform that is trying to get the asset listed, and so on. So these white papers, they are quite difficult to do. And the white papers, they need to have a sustainability section, right? With sustainability data on every crypto. If you don't have that, the crypto cannot be also trading in the EU. And not just that, every trading platform, and more than trading platforms, every what we call in the EU CAS, crypto asset service providers, they need to have a page in their website with the sustainability information for all of the crypto that they're offering services in relation to, all the crypto that they're listing, or they need to delist, right? So it's a stringent law. If you don't have this white paper, if you don't have this sustainability data, your crypto is out and it loses access to the European market, which is huge. So that's where we jump in, because we have been doing sustainability research on crypto, as you know, for a long time. So if we were already doing this research, why not make these figures available to the industry? And that's what we started doing, right? We started providing the sustainability data and also writing these white papers, because we got very good at writing them. But there's issues, of coordination and of best practices. So if you write like your white paper in one way, but then you see another crypto write it in another way, and they talk about, I don't know, there's a risk section in the white paper, and they discuss risks that you didn't discuss. Then maybe the regulator comes to you and say, why didn't you discuss this risk? Are you hiding something? And for these sort of reasons, it's important to coordinate, right? There's also another issue, is that when there is these compliance requirements, many players, they tend to see this as a tick the box exercise. If you need to write a white paper, you do the bare minimum. You write as little as possible. You make it as uninformative as you possibly can, right? You fill it up with legal jargon that means nothing, and you send the document so that you tick the box. But these white papers, the whole idea is that the public is educated about every crypto asset project. So if you're going to do it, you might as well do it properly. So that's why we launched the Alliance with the idea of, let's establish best practices, right? Let's do things with a higher standard, and at the same time, help the entire industry come on board and make it easy for them to uphold this high standard. So because everybody likes best practices, right? But best practices are expensive. So that's where people stop liking the best practices. So the Alliance is born to raise the bar, but at the same time, sort of lower the cost for the ecosystem. And Hedera is one of the founding members of the Alliance. So Exponential Science this is an initiative by Exponential Science, but Hedera is a founding member. So we've been working a lot with Hedera, with the Hedera policy team, for instance. So one of the things that we started doing was working on an HBAR MiCA white paper. Now, here's an interesting thing with the MiCA white papers, right? So they became mandatory at the beginning of this year, and most projects don't have them yet. But most projects are still trading in the EU, right? They have not been delisted yet. You have seen that USDT was delisted. We don't have them anymore because they have some additional requirements that they didn't meet. But the white paper requirement, in some cases, if your crypto was already trading in the EU, in a particular platform in the EU, they get a few years of, grace period. So if you don't want your crypto to be listed in new platforms, fine, you don't need a white paper for a few years. But if you want to be sort of a leader, right, make it easy for European trading platforms that don't have, for instance, HBAR listed yet. You need to get that white paper done. So we have been doing work on that and also doing the sustainability angle of that. And it's been quite a journey. And this is some alpha for you. We had not shared this before, and so this is the first time it's being talked about in public. But we finalized a Hedera, an HBAR MiCA white paper, where we did it in consultation with the entire Hedera team. Like it's been amazing, really. There's been so many different members of the team contributing to this, and the result is really fantastic. It's going to be announced very soon. And it's not just, a compliance document. It's a fantastic, educational resource on Hedera. The idea is that if in the future, if you want to understand what Hedera is, what technology it's using, what's the history, you will find everything in that one single document. Now, some cryptos have received some white papers until the moment. Right? There's some players that, they've written a white paper, they sent it to some European authorities, and including somebody even wrote an HBAR white paper already. It's not a very detailed white paper. It gets a lot of things wrong about the technology, or it doesn't actually explain what the project is about. And that's because some of these white papers, they're really written as a publicity stunt, where you're not writing them in consultation with the actual project team. So this is going to be the first white paper for a layer 1 in the world that is MiCA compliant, written in consultation with the team. So it's going to be a first of a kind. And the other cool thing is, some of the providers, they write a white paper, they send it to the EU authorities, but then they charge you if you want to use that to get, for instance, HBAR listed. So right now, like for every other coin in the EU, if it's not already trading in a particular platform, you need to go and pay some players to get your white paper listed. Because we are trying to just elevate the ecosystem and promote good practices for our members, we are making this white paper available for anybody that wants to list HBAR. So if you're a trading platform in the EU, you have not listed HBAR yet, take this white paper. It's free. Go ahead, and this should lower compliance costs. And it's not just for HBAR, because now that we have done a white paper for Hedera that explains really well and in a very, very compliant manner all of the details about the technology, any Hedera-based projects really benefit from that. So what we're now beginning to do is working with startups that are building on Hedera. If they're launching a token, they want it to get listed in European trading platforms, they're going to need a white paper, and that is a lot of money in compliance that a startup cannot afford right now, because law firms, they charge a lot for these white papers. And at the end of the day, the law firms, they don't know your project, so they cannot write it for you. So what we're doing is we're starting we have launched this, we call it the Hedera Launcher Program, a program for startups building on Hedera, and we help them get their white paper at no cost even. Right? And now what we're starting to do is we're starting slowly and working with different ecosystem organizations in the Hedera ecosystem, right? There's Hedera, the Hedera Foundation, there's Hashgraph, there's the Hashgraph group. And if they say, give a grant to a startup to build on Hedera for some reason, then we want to help them as part of, say, their ecosystem onboarding process to just lower their compliance costs and get access to the European market more generally. So that's super cool. I know compliance is not interesting to a lot of people, but this is more than compliance, right? It's policy. And it's not easy to find a blockchain DLT crypto project that takes these matters so seriously. The MiCA CryptoAlliance is really has a vibe and a philosophy that is around being sort of adults in the room with these requirements. And that resonated so well with the entire team at Hedera, right? So they got so involved, and that's why they wanted to be a founding member, and that's why we're pushing out this with them first. So it's been really great.
Sorry, also it's awesome news. You know that my background, I'm a lawyer, you know, so I've been I live in Madrid. I've been with 13 regulators of European regulators. I've been more focused on the DLT pilot design, but I know MiCA very well. So imagine I am a startup. I'm listening to you. I understand what you're doing. How I can reach out to you? How can I analyze if the token I want to issue or to trade in the European Union is needed to have this white paper? So how can I start reaching out to you?
Yeah, well, I see that a link is circulating right under us right now. That's the link to our website. There's a contact form right there. That's the fastest way. Just reach out. We're happy to help. I can give some quick guidance, right? So there's like in the EU, there's different kinds of crypto assets. There's the e-money tokens and the asset reference tokens that are mostly stable coins, or another kind of crypto that is pegged to other assets in their value. Could be pegged to a fiat, a basket of fiat, another asset. And then there's everything else. In the everything else basket is where the majority of crypto is. If you are in the everything else basket, you will need a white paper unless your crypto is non-fungible. So if you're doing NFTs, they are not covered in the EU. If you're doing, security tokens, that's sort of more rare, but security tokens, they are covered under securities regulation, not under MiCA, so that's also out. But for everything else, you would be needing one. Now, you can mint anything you want, and that doesn't automatically regulate you in this way. It's the act of offering the crypto asset to the public or having the admission to trading to a crypto trading platform. That's the regulated act. And there's a minimum size. So I believe if your public offer is for less than $1 million, you don't need a white paper yet. But the moment you cross that threshold, you will need it. And if somebody else wants to list your crypto, even if you didn't need the white paper, they will need it. And exchanges, they're not going to be writing your white paper, right? They're going to tell you, if you want your token listed in my exchange, you send me the white paper and I send it to the authorities. So anyway, it's a bit of a complex ecosystem to navigate, but if you just reach out, we're very happy to help. And I have one more update as well, which is more on the energy and sustainability research. So you wouldn't believe how much work we've done since, I think it was 2021, 2020 that we were publishing papers on blockchain and proof of stake energy use, including Hedera. We've gone a long way since that. So right now we even launched a platform called Nodians, where we are tracking, not just the energy use, but the carbon footprint, the water footprint, the land footprint, the electronic waste, the recycled percentages in each one of these, the energy sources in hundreds and hundreds of crypto. It's really great. And of course, HVAR is amongst those tokens, but also many other Hedera-based tokens, right? So part of what we're doing is building metrics for HTS tokens, for instance, and some of the many tokens emerging in the Hedera ecosystem, so that if they ever need this sort of data to be compliant and to access the European market, it's going to be much easier for them. And also, updating our research. So we've been working with Alex and many other members in the Hedera technical team. They've been helping us update our data and build much more up-to-date, estimations and real-time data on Hedera's metrics. And something very interesting happened in our research, which is I don't know if you know, but Hedera, the Hedera nodes, they are very high grade. They are very they have very high hardware requirements. It's not a blockchain that right now can be run in very, very minor laptops, in very minor computers, right? I know there's plans to have Hedera be runnable in, you know, Raspberry Pis and so on, but right now the council is enforcing high hardware requirements for Hedera, which means Hedera consumes individually per node a lot of energy. The issue is that Hedera, well, processes a lot of transactions. It doesn't have a lot of nodes, and is very efficient in some other ways that make it very sustainable. Well, one of the interesting things that we found is that because Hedera nodes are a bit higher grade than the majority of the rest of the industry, they actually, when you are processing many transactions and you add more and more transactions to Hedera, the power use does not go up. That's a super interesting thing. So in a blockchain where the nodes are using very low grade hardware, maybe the initial energy use is sort of low. But when you start processing many transactions, the computer, they need to turn on more cores. They need to drive more resources. So the energy use goes up very quickly. In Hedera, that doesn't happen because the hardware is so good that it can process a lot of transactions without turning on more things, basically. That has very interesting implications because Hedera-based tokens, for instance, their energy use is derived from their transactions. So interestingly, we are identifying that Hedera's hardware requirements are making Hedera tokens extremely green, like massively green. And that's a super interesting thing that we are going to be publishing some research on and some quantitative metrics. Definitely didn't expect to find this. Like we didn't have an intuition that we would find this. We were trying to understand why the numbers were what they were, but that's super cool. So yeah, I mean, I've spoken a lot about what we're doing. Happy to tell more in Q&A or afterwards. And yeah, thank you for letting us share what we're doing.
Juan, thank you very much. I remember reading your paper. I think it was 2021. I don't really remember when, but it was amazing. So thank you very much for sharing these new updates. We are running with out of time, so I am happy to have you all here, and I have so many questions for every one of you, but we need to follow on. And Michael, please. That's we have a noise preventing you. Also, the same noise that when Juan let us know that Hedera was part of the white paper, the same noise. So Michael, happy to have you here, and please walk through about how was that experience. That was the AI hackathon, the demo days, and what you envision for the future.
Yeah. So I mean, Hedera AI, I think, was a smashing success as far as hackathons go. I might say it was probably one of the most successful hackathons we've done in the ecosystem yet. We've broken through a lot of KPIs from that hackathon, and some highlights include, well, we had the Hedera AI event, which did over 500,000 views between all of the streams and streaming partners that we had available during that event. We had 7,000 plus NPM downloads across the Hedera Agent Kit and the Standards SDK, which implements OpenConvey for AI communication. We had 300 plus testnet agents in the OpenConvey protocol, and we had over 12,000 testnet transactions between all those agents that we're building on top of the protocol during the hackathon. And the best part is that the hackathon has been over now for a few weeks, and a number of the teams are still testing and testnet, creating agents and transactions actively. So these are the kinds of results that you want to see from a hackathon, right? Transactions, active teams, startups, building within the ecosystem. The really cool thing about Hedera AI in general is we have this kind of like Shark Tank style demo day where we invited cross-chain participation. We had Algorand, XCC Foundation, Constellation, Eliza OS all present. Additionally, we had participation from Outlier Ventures, Hivemind Capital, Funders VC, and Helix to help with the judging process. Sorry, there's a little bit of a buzzing sound. I think it might be Luis's mic.
No problem. Oh, Luis, yeah.
There's a buzzing sound, I think.
Yes, now. I thought that you didn't understood that it was Luis. So yes,
yeah,
please.
Overall, it was a really successful event. I think one of the most successful hackathon experiences. Post hackathon, we're working on a number of these teams who have participated, and we're really looking forward from the Hashgraph Online and Moonscape slide featuring these teams. We have an upcoming mainnet for OpenConvey. As you know, during the hackathon, it was in a testnet period, and the standard itself was in a draft mode. The Hashgraph Online DAO will come together and vote to bring that standard into a published state. And we will move Moonscape to actually work in production. So we're really excited about that. That's coming soon. Take a look at our socials at Hashgraph Online and Moonscape Labs so you can know when that actually goes live and you can start using your agents in mainnet. We're excited to broker this capability within Hedera ecosystem so that you can talk, chat, and integrate with AI agents in a decentralized ChatGPT-like experience through the protocol. Additionally, as far as the hackathon goes, there will be some announcements on the winners of the hackathon, which will actually happen towards the end of this stream from our communication channels. So if you're wondering who won the hackathon, we will have an upcoming blog post from the Hashgraph Online account. Additionally, we will be doing a little bit of an update aesthetically to the brand of Hashgraph Online. So there will be a whole new website along with this announcement that we hope you all like. It would be a better browser for looking at the organizations involved in Hashgraph Online and the standards that we've built so far. So you can browse through all of those things and overall just a revamp of the brand itself. So looking forward to that. Keep your notifications on for the Hashgraph Online account and the Moonscape Labs account if you're not already following us. And I think just key takeaways. Hedera XAI or the Hedera AI Agents Hackathon is over, but this is just the beginning. Hedera XAI is starting. It started during the hackathon and it will keep moving forward. There are a number of events that are that will be going on in the future around Hedera XAI in general. So keep your eyes peeled across different organizations within the ecosystem as we proliferate that. New announcements in terms of SDKs and functionalities that are also shipping soon to accelerate the AI agents ecosystem. If you'd like to get involved today, what I recommend is joining the Hashgraph Online Telegram and reaching out. We will be featuring agents that have great use cases on Moonscape and Hashgraph Online socials. So if you have a cool agent that you would like to build out, reach out to us and we'd like to support it as much as possible. Additionally, download the standards SDK and Hedera agent kit so that you can start building an agent today. The world and where it's heading is obviously, the writing is on the walls there. We will all be chatting to AI agents soon. It's clear as day if you look at traffic on socials, you look at traffic on Google, all these things are kind of down. A lot of our day-to-day looks like going to ChatGPT and talking to ChatGPT and asking it questions or looking at other platforms like Perplexity and Claude, etc. So Hedera has this prime opportunity right now, and startups as well, to move while the iron is hot and you're early, to be involved in this AI or agentic ecosystem. So again, thank you all for everyone who participated in the Hedera AI Agents Hackathon at Hedera XAI. There is more coming soon. and this is just the beginning.
Thank you very much, Michael. We are running out of time, but we have 2 questions that I want to listen up. If it happens, you have anything to say. But this is really for AI. It's any information to share on the recent Accenture and Equity Lab news sounds exciting. So we all saw the news. We understand what this implies. But Michael, do you have something? What do you think about this? Why Hedera? Or something that could bring some clarity?
I personally don't have insights into Accenture, this partnership, but what I will say, just my opinion, is that big companies are coming in and they're looking at AI. And they're seeing a pathway where they can either join into these AI ecosystems and build on top of them, or be left behind. And I'm not saying that's specific to Accenture, but it's important for any company anywhere in the world to be paying attention to AI today. If you're not, that is a massive, massive mistake. I would just say that bluntly. I think anyone who's building in Web3 and Web2, et cetera, you need to be paying attention to AI, because the way that we all interact with things is fundamentally changing. It's changing very, very fast. Even today, we're still talking to AI agents through a keyboard and a mouse. It is clear that where we'll be heading soon, and maybe this is Milan's interest as well, is the opticals that we use to talk to AI will change. Why do we need a keyboard and a mouse if we can just talk to our agents through our voice? Or through a robot? Agentic robotics is a thing that is growing very fast. If you're not looking at Gemini robotics, then you are sleeping on something really important today. And then start thinking about how robotics can utilize blockchain. How does that integrate with payment vehicles? And what does that look like in the future? There's so much out there that I think everyone would like to launch a meme coin or a new L1. But AI is where things are accelerating fast, and where we are heading clearly with society. And I think big companies like Accenture are seeing that. And then they're looking at Hedera and they're realizing, well, Hedera has fixed low-cost transaction fees. They have this great service called the Hedera Consensus Service that they can use to build governance, patterns, and playbooks, and all of the, the interesting, important things that, a billion-dollar company would want to be involved in. I don't think it's a surprise that we see these partnerships happening, and I think there's going to be more of them. Again, I have no insider information here. This is an alpha. This is just my personal opinion. I think this is where we're heading. And if you are a company that wants to build AI on Hedera, please reach out. I'd love to work with you and create your agent together within the Hedera ecosystem.
It's just to jump on what Michael said. Yeah, I just remember, I always forget the stuff that I build, but I just remember that I started working on a node for I think it was the HCS 10, or is that the one? So the agent registration one. So I started creating a node for N8N as well. So you basically will drag and drop like, hey, agent registration, and then start communicating, right? So it's really amazing how things can so fit in each other, right? And as Michael says, I mean, there's so many ways you will be able to communicate with AI. And it's so much that, first of all, yes, it's hard to keep up. I don't know, there's so much news and the development goes so incredibly rapidly. But there's like weird ideas. Like I want to think about this idea. Like I have a whiteboard and I have a camera who kind of thinks with me, so it registers like whatever I'm writing on the wall, and then you can have like a brainstorm session while you're working at the whiteboard, right? So they're all cool things you can do with AI. So anyway, that's the stuff that goes around in my head.
Well, thank you very much for that, Milan, Michael, Juan. Really happy to have you here. Thank you very much to the audience. Hopefully you enjoy this. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of questions to do, so I think that we could repeat it anytime. But I want to leave you some final minutes to, if you want to make some thoughts or comments or anything, please, the stage is yours. If anyone want to say anything.
Yeah, so you know, in my case, I'm always happy to help out anyone. You know, feel free to reach out on any subject. Always happy to give pointers. Also, HBAR Foundry, I'm hosting the weekly and Fridays HBAR Foundry. That's on hbarfoundry.com. You can just join our meetings on Fridays, 11 a.m. Eastern, and that's just an hour meeting with grassroots developers, and that's been going on for about 5 years. So yeah, anyway, you know, people can we're all in it here together. So any way we can help out each other, it's always the best thing.
Well, thank you very much, Milan. We have one last question that I was missing that maybe Juan can comment on that.
I wanted to take this question because actually the reports actually come from us, not from the MiCA CryptoAlliance, but from papers from our research. So, you know, Exponential Science is always doing a lot of blockchain research. And our founder, Paolo Tasca, with a number of other researchers from our team, recently published a paper on blockchain agnostic wallets that can be built with some multi-party computation services. And so it's a great paper. I'm going to try to find the link and share with everyone in somebody is interested in some academic blockchain work. But as a part of that, that academic paper, they surveyed, you know, other crypto custody solutions around the world. One of them was Ripple Custody, and they show how Ripple Custody is actually HBAR compatible, right? So how Ripple Custody can actually custody HBAR. That particular part of the paper blew through the news like a massive development. And it was actually, well, a part of a larger infrastructure survey, but at the same time, it is sort of a sign of maturity of the industry. I think it's a good sign. Multiple players are beginning to talk to each other, to support each other. We're not seeing silos. Interoperability for me is a key development. So it is actually a positive development and a positive finding. So yeah, just that. It was just, I wanted to take that question because I know where it comes from.
Well, thank you very much, Juan. I was missing that one, so thank you for that also. Well, thank you really for being here. I always say this, I work here, but I'm part of the community since 2020, so I'm truly happy to hear all of these things happening, and I always hear them as a community member. So thank you very much for being here, and see you next one.
Thank you so much, Fermin.
Thank you for the invitation. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much.
From the very beginning, there was a dream for a trust layer for the digital future. But in 2012, the technology to achieve such a vision simply did not exist.
It really should be possible for anyone to just kind of wave their hand and carve out a piece of cyberspace and create a world of their own.
3 years later, in 2015, the Hashgraph consensus algorithm was born. In the same year, Mance and Lehman founded Swirlds to bring Hashgraph to life. In August 2018, the Hedera mainnet goes live, minting 50 billion HBARs.
We are about to launch the Hedera mainnet and mint 50 billion HBARs. There will never be another HBAR. This is it. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's do it. All right. That's it. Congratulations. Yep. Mainnet is live.
In 2019, we announced the Hedera Council to help govern the network, ensuring stability, decentralization, and responsible decision-making globally. On February 13, 2020, Hedera Consensus Service launches on mainnet, marking a new era. 1 year later, Hedera Token Service enabled native tokenization on the Hedera network. With billions of real-world transactions, Hedera has begun to cement itself as a leader in enterprise blockchain. To continue its impact in the digital economy, Hedera creates Stablecoin Studio, an open-source toolkit helping organizations integrate stable digital currencies seamlessly. Through another toolkit, Asset Tokenization Studio is helping making asset tokenization seamless, scalable, and secure. Hedera has taken a bold step forward by contributing its codebase to the Linux Foundation's Decentralized Trust initiative and introducing the Hedera Foundation and Hedera Council, realigning our ecosystem to unlock greater clarity, leadership, and purpose. Looking ahead, Hedera continues to lead with tokenization, digital economies, and beyond. What future will you build?